Hey everybody, it's Nicole with Celestial Messages. I thought I would just do a quick little audio clip for you guys and talk a little bit about Mercury this month. So I'm sure that some of you are aware that Mercury will be going retrograde this month for the first time of the decade. Mercury will be located mostly in the sign of Pisces, but does spend a small amount of time in Aquarius during this retrograde. With retrogrades, there are shadow periods, both before and after the retrograde happen. The pre-shadow period for Mercury retrograde starts February 2nd and runs till the 16th, right before the retrograde starts. And between the dates of February 2nd to 16th is when you're really going to want to take a look and see what is going on for you. What issues are you facing? Are there communication breakdowns? Are there people coming back into your life? Whatever sort of thing you're going through during these dates, I would actually suggest keeping maybe a Mercury journal for like these exact times, because whatever you're going through between those dates is what Mercury is going to go over again for you during the retrograde period. So personally, I'm a Gemini, and I find Mercury retrogrades are usually pretty good for me. They kind of slow down my mind and let me kind of go over things that I need to, because other than that, my mind's very quick and it's all over the place often. There's ideas shooting around and all kinds of things going off. So for me personally, being ruled by Mercury, I sort of enjoy when it goes retrograde. You can tend to notice with Mercury retrograde, though, that there is communication breakdown between people. Technology can go haywire. Cars, vehicles can start having problems. These are some of the things that Mercury rules over. It doesn't mean that these things will happen, but they tend to happen more often during a Mercury retrograde period. And I personally find that the beginning of the retrograde, like right when Mercury decides to change directions, and at the end are when it occurs more heavily. When Mercury is in Pisces, it's a great time to speak about spirituality, to speak your truth, to go into your imagination, to write stories. All of these creative pursuits are perfect when Mercury is in Pisces. It's about your fantasies, your dreams. It's a great time to go deep and explore what your soul is really longing for and wants. When Mercury is in Aquarius, it's an inventive mind. Sometimes you have sparks of genius come up. You may take an interest to things such as the occult, astrology, things like that. When Mercury is in Aquarius, it's exalted there, which means that it really likes hanging out in Aquarius. They are like really good buds and they get along really well. So things like writing and speaking might come more easily to you at this time. You might be a little bit more talkative than usual. You might find yourself opening up in groups of people, friends, organizations. You might even feel the need or want to make public speeches or talk to a group of people if that's what you're into. Like if that's something that you were wanting to do for your career or just in life, then this time would be a great time to kind of take that leap and maybe write out some speeches or figure out how you're going to do it or join an organization that will help you do that thing. Another interesting thing about Mercury this month is that Mercury is usually very hard to see in the sky. And this is because Mercury follows the sun closely all of the time. So with the light of the sun, Mercury is very hard to spot. When Mercury is as far away from the sun as it can get, we get the ability to be able to see it in the sky. So on February 10th, if we have clear skies, you just might be able to see Mercury if you go and look up. So it should be shining brightly in the evening sky around sunset. Again, that's February 10th. You're going to want to look up and find Venus, which will be shining more brightly. And then you're going to want to look down from there. You're going to want to find a place that has a clear horizon, and hopefully you will get to be able to see them both. So the 10th obviously is the best day to see it, but you might want to start looking a couple of days before and you'll probably be able to see it then too. And just as a side note, so the times this year when Mercury will be visible after sunset is February 10th, June 4th, and October 1st. When it will be visible before sunrise is March 24th, July 22nd, and November 10th. So if you're into looking up at the stars or seeing the planets, you might want to make a note of those times and those dates in your calendar. So this Mercury cycle is in Pisces most of the time. So Pisces is a water sign. So people might find that this Mercury retrograde is a little more emotional than they were expecting. One of the best ways to deal with that is to cleanse your energy in Epsom salt baths or essential oil baths. If it's your thing, having some form of water ritual where you release emotions and feelings that you no longer want to carry around with you. It's also a great time because retrogrades are about going over things, redoing things, rethinking things. When it's in a water sign, it is perfect for going back deep into your emotions and pulling out things that you did not want to deal with before. It's a great time to let the tears flow, to release what you've been holding on to, and finally let it go. If you know your own chart and have your sun or rising sign in a water element, then you are particularly going to want to work with the energies of this Mercury cycle. People always talk about Mercury retrograde as being such a negative time, but if you can learn to work with the energies, it can be a very beneficial time. So I hope that you guys found this interesting and helpful. Definitely give me some feedback, and if you like it, I will continue doing things like this. And I hope that you guys have a great February and can manage through the Mercury retrograde just fine.